I can crack my ankle. Like,
Okay, that's unusual.
you will see the light after coming here.
Jesus?
Oh, that one was real. So, yeah, hip pain since forever. I've always been commuting to go to school and all that stuff, so it just started hurting out of nowhere when I was about 18.
Okay.
So I went to the doctors, they did like x-rays and stuff, and they were like, oh, it looks like you're starting to get arthritis in your hip. And this was at 18, so then I was like, okay. So we tried to do some stuff, and then that didn't really last too long, and then it went a while, and then it started hurting bad again. It kind of just, every time it starts getting really, really bad, I'll go to the doctors, and they're just like, oh, a little bit of physical therapy.
Describe what the pain is, and do you notice that there's hip range of motion issues? Do you feel like the hip is...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one goes like about a certain point, and then it doesn't move much further.
So externally rotating, it's hard for you to...
Yeah, and then like it hurts. Like I could rotate it like this, and it starts hurting.
So internally rotating, it hurts. But do that to the other leg, it doesn't...
Yeah, no, I don't feel anything.
Okay.
Like my right leg has always been really good.
So, give me, before 18, what, did you have any injuries you think that preceded? No, nothing that you can recall?
No, I mean, I didn't really do sports or anything, so.
Okay, but never fell off a trampoline, never fell out of a, just
no.
Hard to pinpoint.
It's like a lot of sitting, I guess, because again, I commuted a lot, like, throughout my life.
And they only took pictures of your hip. They didn't take any pictures of your lower back, right? Nobody's taken any...
Not that, no, it's mostly always the hip, because that's what I complain about.
It's tough, because we live in a symptomatic world, and everybody's shining the flashlight on where the symptoms are. It'd be like if you hit your funny bone, right? If I hit my funny bone, no, it's right here. Take a picture of that. It's like, well, that's just where the nerve goes. You're hitting it here, and it goes there. So one suspicious thing is that unless you have a trauma, like, oh yeah, I nailed that hip and it fractured and then it healed wrong. You're saying something like that in your history, which you don't.
No.
So I'm going, it's more likely, again, there could be, like I said, a trauma that you've just forgotten, but it's more likely that the lower back is what's upset. And then that actually goes to your hip. Kind of like the elbow, the funny bone goes to your finger, and if your finger first falling apart, it's well because you're pinching the nerve in the elbow. So and because they never took a picture of it, because they always kind of want to work on where the symptoms are, the health of your hip comes from the health of the nerve in the lower back. And then what happens is, because your hip starts to hurt, you don't move your hip very much because it hurts to move, so I'm not doing that. And then that causes arthritis to build up because the actual hip socket is kept clean, kind of like a bowl. You understand? It's kept clean through pivoting the hip around in the socket. I want to try to figure out what happened beforehand, because we don't have a trauma. We don't have a, oh yeah, I fractured my hip falling off a horse, and then afterwards,
definitely not that.
And then afterwards, I didn't move my hip very much, and now it's all arthritic, right? I don't have a history of a trauma, so it leads me to think that the lower back probably was upset preceding. I sit a lot. You're commuting a lot, meaning a lot of stress is on your lower back. The curve in your spine, when that curve goes straight, all the weight like a ladder goes to these last two guys, and these last two guys are a part of 5 nerve roots, so 3 sacral, 2 lumbar make the largest peripheral nerve in your body, the sciatic nerve, and that goes essentially to your hip socket. So highly suspicious, and nobody's taken an MRI or X-ray or no information on the lower back, and that would be what I'd be curious about first. But I can sort of glean a little bit about how your lower back's doing based on how tight this might be, right? So if this is real tight up here, and if I'm massaging it and you really hate me when I massage your middle back, that leads to this is probably overworked.
It's definitely not just the hip. It's like my left leg.
The whole leg is...
Like, because, yeah, it's like all this hurts a lot. Like, I can crack my ankle. Like...
Okay. That's unusual.
Yeah.
Show me your other ankle. Doesn't do that at all.
It clicks a little bit, but it doesn't. Yeah, no, it doesn't make a noise.
Okay. And you don't have any trauma. There's no like, trauma you're hiding.
I've twisted my ankles my whole life. Like, they're flimsy. Like...
Okay, so weakness, perhaps.
Yeah, like I've just straight up walking.
The left leg is not... Well, that's what starts to happen, is you're getting a weakness in your left leg, right? And then the health of your left leg is just odd. The whole leg is just not working properly.
And
that's nerve. The sciatic nerve is everything below your knee, the whole back half of your thigh and the outside of your thigh. The only thing that's not sciatica is your femoral nerve, is your quad, and obturator. Everything else is one nerve, and so highly
cramps.
What is that?
This will cramp like crazy, like excruciating. Like I'm like and massaging it, and
that's suspicious again in the lower back. I'm just saying because you're getting pressure on the nerve, and then the nerve goes and tasers the muscle.
Okay.
So I want to try to improve the health of your spine. Would be the first way of treating this. Let's see what happens if I make your spine happier.
The last chiropractor that I went to, which was like a few months ago, he would put me like he would crack me a little bit, and then he put me on this machine that pulled me. Like pulled my like I had my legs like kind of up, and it would just pull me.
Traction.
And then
feels good while you're doing it. Then
it would hurt so much when I would get off the machine.
Right.
Like, and then they'd take me to this like they'd put a little electric thing on me and then like probe my little. It would feel good for the moment, but it didn't really last long.
The difficulty is, I think of the Back to the Future Part 2. Maybe you've seen the part in the future where I think it's the grandfather's like hanging upside down in the kitchen, and they got this machine. He's like, his hair is all, and he's just floating around the kitchen upside down. Inversion, or what you're describing as traction, where they, flexing you and they're tractioning your lower back, is great. But do you plan on being traction your whole life? No, I plan on being upright, right? So because I plan on being here, the things that you do to the spine when you're being tractioned aren't conducive for long-term health of the spine. For instance, your back shouldn't be straight. That's the wrong alignment. It should be curved. So when we're working at the end of our visit today, we're going to, not this guy, the smaller guy, but we're going to start working on bringing you back to a curved position. And then even teaching you some stuff when you're in the car, perhaps that can, help to support your back and take stress off your lower back. And I think that's going to give you a lot of benefit. You also notice heartburn, how long that's been going on?
My whole life.
Well, and that's postural too.
Oh.
So the stomach is right underneath the bottom. So your sternum and then your xiphoid. Xiphoid is like literally means dagger. And the bottom of your sternum looks like a little dagger. And when the stomach is right underneath the xiphoid. And so when you bend forward, that dagger presses in on the stomach. And then if you have food in there, it's going to go somewhere.
Oh.
So having back problems, leaning forward to get away from them, squeezing the stomach, acid reflux, those are not separate symptoms. I'm just trying to say that they're connected together. Okay, left shoulder's elevated by about at least ½ inch. So your first thing is it's an injury really to the right side of your neck. So you have an injury to the right side of your neck, your head tilts. You don't walk around with your head tilted. So you tilt your torso, but there's a neck injury, maybe one of those car accidents. I can see it right there on the right side of your neck. Let me have see for a second. Left hip is high. Yeah, same thing. You're avoiding this whole, does that make sense? You're in, hence your left leg, right? So if I pull the shoulders back, get the idea?
Yeah.
The head's farther forward than really we can see because of like I said, your whole body's rounded forward. And then that's what, like I said, squeezing the stomach. So I want to try to open you up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Cross arms. Take a deep breath in. A little sit up. Head back for me. Let it all go. I got you. Exhale. Here we go. Let it go. Good. Deep breath in. Exhale for me. Exhale. All right, a little tight there. Yep. Deep breath in. Head back for me. Exhale. There you go. All right, stay there for me. Breathe for me. Exhale. There we go. I got you. A little bit outside for me. Okay, good. Exhale. All right, so go face up for me. Good. And so your daily life is generally, how many hours seated would you had to take a guess?
A lot.
10, 12, 14?
Yeah, probably 12 easy.
Okay. All right, well, I hope to show you some counter stretching. Right, so eating is not the problem, it's the lack of brushing the teeth at the end of the day. Does that make sense? That becomes the problem. And we don't have any guides teaching us how to clean our spine, and we're left with just leaving our kitchen dirty after cooking meals and then wondering why there's bugs. So we got to start cleaning up. And
I'll do whatever you say.
all right, we'll get there. We're going to move this top guy a little bit. Keep the chin up. There you go. There you go. All right. Very nice. Usually never been accused of not talking enough. Never been accused of not explaining or going deep enough. So,
Well, that's why your videos are so good.
well, there you go. Hey, if you want a quiet visit, it costs double. If you want a little easier, just let me know.
Okay. No, you're good.
All right. But my goal, my mindset is to push the envelope, is to get to the limit and then back off a little bit. But my goal is to, every patient's limit is a little different, so today's examining and treating at the same time as I'm figuring out where that limit is. All right. It's actually easier to breathe when you're upright. Part of what your ability to take a deep breath in is going to be hampered by when your head's forward. There's more restriction, let's call it, to get the head. There we go. Yeah, there's a knot on that right side of your neck right there. Right there. Her head likes to tell, yes, no.
Oh yeah, I feel it.
You like sleep on your left side. It doesn't.
I do.
I know you do. Okay. I wake up, I examine spines, and I go to bed. That's all I do every day. It's like Groundhog Day. Phil Connors, that's a doozy. It's the same day. She won't watch it with me. I won't watch. Say I hate that movie. Say Punxsutawney Phil. I love it because that's like my life.
That's like you watching the Hallmark Channel, okay? Like that's...
Oh.
Hallmark Channel is so disconnected. That's just as sci-fi as the Sci-Fi Channel. Nothing like that happens in real life.
But it's something to dream for.
But just don't tell me it's reality. It's just as fantasy as.
Groundhog Day is like a nightmare. Waking up to the same thing.
That's actually more connected with reality.
I was gonna say that's like life.
Give me Hallmark.
5 days a week. It's Groundhog
Day. It's the same. Just trying to get. This really is the ultimate culprit that then creates like a domino effect because your head won't tilt to the right. That's creating all these different little misalignments all the way down to your foot. And
like I said, you do what you gotta do.
okay. All right. There we go. Yeah, this side's so much easier. Your neck. On this right side.
It's your souvenir to go home.
Yeah, no, I'm excited.
Something to remember me by.
Not the YouTube video that I'll be able to see.
Right.
The body doesn't forget, it just buries. It just puts in the closet.
Yeah.
I'll deal with that later.
I got a storage closet over there now.
Right. It's like it doesn't forget, it just buries. Yeah, it's right here. Hello. And you didn't even know that was there, did you?
No.
How smooth? See, it's smooth. I mean, little guy. There's a little guy. There's a little tiny guy right here. And then look at this monster. And he goes from here to there. This whole section on the right. Right lock, left abuse, and then the left lower back gets overstressed, and now you're back on the right side. But
I'm just gonna try to meditate.
okay, yeah.
I know. We're about to sing Hakuna Matata together.
Simba. The kids were watching some movie the other day, and it was like, I kept on saying, "Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king."
You see it. You see where all the sun touches.
That's right. Yeah, right in there. I'm right. But we don't need to go for the kill on the first visit. I mean, gee whiz, but yes, it needs to be. I was saying, something's got to do something about this. Like, look at that.
Yeah, I feel it.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry that everybody's failed you and nobody's done anything. And let's put this electrical pad on you and rub it on you. Ooh, yeah.
I was like, and it's only where like it hurts directly, you know?
Jeez. Fix my spine. Your spinal cord is housed in your spinal column, and the spinal cord is an extension of your brain. It has gray matter in it, and everything you feel is your brain and spinal cord. And having this inflammation along your spinal column irritates, inflames, upsets. All right. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, I really feel it.
Sometimes you'll feel it in the leg. Sometimes, you start getting deeper in this spot here, you might actually feel it in the calf or in the leg, because this is essentially where the sciatic nerve starts to form. The cord actually ends right here. It then becomes individual cables. We have a word called equina, but basically horsetail, the actual nerves form right here off the spinal cord, and then they travel down, and then they exit. So the sciatic nerve actually starts in the spinal column right here. And so this is, to me, one of the first places that it gets irritated, agitated, inflamed from this blockage in here, injury. There we go. Nobody really teaches us how to breathe properly. We shallow breathe. We're supposed to take deep breaths. We hold our breath when we lift things. We're supposed to be exhaling when we're lifting, or so then the diaphragm, the traps, the lats, the quadratus lumborum lock this area. And then it doesn't allow it to rinse itself out. It becomes quarantined.
Yeah, nothing gets by you, Doctor Ed.
I know, I find it all. Nobody can hide. I've never been able to hide anything from my car mechanic. When he puts my car on a lift, every curb that I hit and he's like, you hit a curb. I was like, no, I didn't. He's like, well, there's yellow paint on the bottom side of your car. Oh, that curb. Yes, I remember that curb now. What did I damage? Well, you bent this over here. I did hide now. Did I really? How much?
Have you been watching the channel for long, or?
Forever.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, from watching the channel and stuff, I was like, oh, I gotta go to him. He actually knows what he's doing.
You sound like you've familiarized yourself with,
glad you- thanks
with
for-
this stuff. So.
Oh yeah, I always like you guys' videos.
Aw,
Thank you.
Yeah. And I talk about you guys to people. I always try to recommend you guys.
thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And I was like, I want Dr. Ed to be famous. And yeah, it's like a little mountain.
Yes. What's going to happen is that the parts that are not as dirty will get cleaner faster than the dirtiest part. And so it'll actually become more apparent as I work on you more, because it's the only thing that's going to be left is that.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting, I think it's getting bigger, Ed. No, everything else is shrinking away. And only thing that's going to be left is this. It's like when the seawall, you're in Tampa, so like when the storm came through and the water, they call it reverse storm surge, So then all the stuff that's at the bottom of the bay there can be seen. That's the way I look at this. Everything's going to pull out, and then you're going to, there's a ship, there's a battleship down there. There. It's like a piece of paper that keeps folding back and forth in the same crease, and then it starts to tear. This part of your back is where all the bending. And then, I'm not giving any solutions. I'm just telling what the problem is. The brassiere binds up this area, right? And so, what am I supposed to do? Well, I don't know. I'm just telling you that you have to participate in keeping this area limber. The bra is going to bind up this area and make this bend too much. And so there's some level of active participation that has to be done to keep this middle back area part of the team and in the game.
I'll do what you tell me.
All right, well, I'll show you. We'll show you. We'll go through it. We'll go through it, yeah. You're doing great. After the elbow, this is usually the soothing part. It's like,
Yeah, I was about to say
Okay.
this is so much nicer.
Okay. Usually, sometimes people think this got to be the hard part. No, people usually like this part.
Oh, yeah, your
It's like,
elbow is so
yeah.
much harder than this.
That was so mean, Ed. I know, well,
It's necessary.
right. Somebody's got to dredge it off the bottom. It's like a pool. I jump in, I shuffle my feet on the bottom. I'm trying to stir up all the stuff that's at the bottom that the skimmer and the filter can't get. Those get the upper layers. So the GuaSha primarily cleans the top layers, and then you got to use the elbow to draw up from the bottom layers. And more on this right shoulder. Do you routinely like throw a football around? Do you?
Oh, yeah, with my brother. We play
Okay.
catch at least like every Sunday.
Yeah, there's definitely more on this right shoulder here. I'm seeing here, like over
Yeah,
here.
no, I definitely feel it.
Something can't hide from me.
I know. I was like, oh, it's my leg.
You look over here, Ed. Don't look over there. All right. Oh, cool. All right. Well, hey, Brady's we're doing okay, you know.
Oh my God, our offense.
I know, but if we win this Sunday, we clinch the division. So
I know. But we'll see.
we got to get Gronk out of retirement, right? I mean,
Even then, he's not in football shape. Like, he's
is he
not ready.
Oh no. All right.
I don't know.
All right. Right there. All right. So how tender is it when I push on the hip and everything?
Right now,
Yeah,
it doesn't hurt.
but just when you're moving it around, that's when it mainly. I want to just sort of. We'll see how much she punches me in a second. I want you to compare, you know, when I use one side and then compare the other side. What do you think?
Yeah, I hurt a little bit more.
More on the left side?
Yeah.
A little more sore back? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Working on it. Going too hard, you okay? All right, I got you. Yep, I see it. That is probably the most pops I've ever gotten out of somebody's ankle.
I told you my ankles
That
have been
was-
through a lot.
That was quite something. Like,
They've been through a lot. throughout my life. Fractures, sprains.
How many times? Thank you.
I fractured it once, my left ankle, a long time ago. Like I would say I was like 17 maybe. And I mean sprains. Oh my god. Like all the time. One time I fell down the stairs. Not fell down the stairs. I held on, but my shins hit the stair underneath. Oh my god. Yeah.
Just feeling here a second. Either it's in the early stage, you don't really have too much. I don't have any like gross atrophy or anything. I don't feel like there's any. That doesn't mean there can't be a the signal internally is weaker, but it's not to the point where it's obvious. Does that make sense? Where, it's not gone so far down the road that, like on my dad's legs, he's had a pinched nerve for 30 years, and his one calf is smaller than the other, right? Because the actual nerve that gives the information to that calf and stimulates the calf has been cut off for 30 years, and so
it's like not just pinch, it's like damage.
It's been
like
damaged. So,
damage.
so it's not. But long before you get to that point where you can see gross atrophy, you have weakness. Okay, we're talking like 10, 15 years beforehand. But finally, when you have atrophy, then everybody pats me on the back and goes, "Yeah, Dr. Ed, you were right." Like, no, it was like that 10, 15 years ago. But it was the beginning of it. And so you definitely like to internally.
Oh yeah, this one in particular, my left one, if I straighten it out and I stretch it, it hurts like the side of my calf.
Back here?
Oh yeah, so like a little bit more. If I do that, I feel it like right here. And I don't know if you.
Not on this side though.
No, this side is my right leg.
Right
Never really hurt.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see here.
So like if I do like that, it starts hurting so much.
Okay. I got you. Okay, I got you. Okay, all right. Yeah, it's all bound up. You got all.
You can take off the socket if you need to.
You're fine.
Yeah, that hurts. I mean, not. It doesn't hurt. You can massage it, but that's what normally hurts. Like,
Right.
I massage that all the time. Because I feel it. It's like a bump.
Yes.
I have never known what it was. I just massage it and I try to make it feel better.
And you think that was you first noticed that teenage or what?
No, that's only been happening like maybe 2 years ago. But nothing like traumatic happened. It just started hurting. I thought it was part of my hip. Because like my hips always hurt. And since it's on the same leg, I was like, oh, maybe it's just everything it's migrating, all the pain. Yeah, I feel it.
Boop, there's
a bump.
Yep. No, there's.
Is it a spasm?
Well, part of the muscle can be in spasm. Part of it's then you tear where the spasm meets the normal tissue, but there's injury. I'm saying there's speed bumps on a road that should be smooth. So.
Yeah, because I totally put I just bought those little muscle, the little pads that you put in electrical. I just bought one and I put it on there a lot.
Yeah.
So
Like I said, absent of any real trauma in here, it's all coming from your lower back.
Okay.
So that doesn't mean we can't help symptomatically work on the leg and help it get better. Does that make sense? You can do things on the leg to stimulate blood flow and help it unwind itself, but ultimately if we don't make the lower back happy, it's kind of silly.
Yeah.
You're just chasing a carrot down here. And can you put one? Am I close to it?
Oh yeah, you're on it. Definitely feel that though.
Legs go straight again. There we go.
You will see the light after coming here.
Jesus? You can get like a type of Theragun or any type of pulse.
I have one.
How often do you do that? You put that in there and just,
Okay.
that's good for the hip socket, just to get some blood flow in there. Along with what I'm going to show you in a minute, which is stretching. This is how we're going to help you get better. But if you've been doing all of this and it's not getting better, then it's because we're missing the lower back component. That's what. But that doesn't mean you can't keep doing all this to help it get better.
Okay. I always see this one. It's funny. I'm like, how does he click those?
I got you. Go ahead and tilt your head to the right. Tilt right a little bit.
Oh, I felt that. It happened.
Go ahead and tilt to the right.
Oh, that one was real.
Go ahead and tilt to the left for me.
Let's see, little baby pop.
Little baby pops. Go ahead and tilt to the left.
He got me. I know.
Go ahead, put your hip in your hips for me. There we go. Have you press back with your elbow. There we go. Let's press back. Okay, it's good. Press back, press back. There we go, good. We gotta start molding your spine back into this curved position. That's how we're gonna take the pressure off the nerves that go to your hip and down your leg. Go ahead and keep the feet together, knees together. Rotate your knees to the right. Yeah, work on that one. That's what I want you to do. So we call this extension traction. So we're not just tractioning like you were with a previous chiropractor. We were bending you back at the same time we're tractioning you. So on the down slopes of this device, there's traction on the down slopes. So wherever you put the device, above and below it are going to be tractioning. So with restoration of that curve, which is what we call it extension traction. So versus just positive traction where you're just pulling it open. And bring knees back up, move knees left. Here we go, breathe, breathe, stretch. There you go. Too easy, too difficult, what do you think?
This one's fine. That was the other.
That's the one you gotta work on. That's the one you gotta work on is these right, because that lump's on that right side of your back. I know, that's what you gotta work on.
This is like.
Yep. And you might do, two to the right for every one to the left.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Because you wanna, that right side is so elevated, does that make sense? It'll feel like you're crooked on it, you're not, your back's crooked. And as your back levels out, you'll not perceive difficulty. Right. We don't need to race into it, but we need to start introducing you to understanding. They make rollers. The rollers aren't bad. They're a little more broad in their contact. You can use the roller kind of as a scanning tool. You start at the top and you move up and down your back, the whole thoracic cage. The contact is more broad, so it's not as difficult. The device you're on is much more pinpoint, so it's more effective at stretching, but you can't really move on this. You put it in one spot and do 20 minutes. You're kind of locked in. So for a person that's never done it before, sometimes the roller allows you to move the pressure. I try to manage it with the knee side to side, so just do the knees left or knees right. Just that kind of moves the pressure point a little bit and makes getting to 20 minutes less difficult. Knees right, about 5 seconds, 5-10 seconds, and then knees right, 5-10 seconds. There you go, stretch. I know you got to work that right side.
Oh, damn. My whole back.
Well, that's that knot on
Yeah.
the right side. It means it's hard to see real well.
No,
but
it's huge,
right,
yeah.
that right there is where
It's like purple right there.
this goes behind your back while you're sitting. Just start, and then below your shoulder blades, this whole area. You can go from here down to here.
Show her how to pop her knuckles too. She was doing it the bad way.
So you want to pop it? No, bad girl. You just straight traction them. You just.
I mean, I popped them like 3 times already.
Yeah.
If you can get something out of them, I'd be surprised.
A challenge.
Okay, so straight out.
Yeah, straight's better for him.
Oh, you got something. Oh, I can click my wrists too. Not like that though. I just do.
Yeah, you don't need to be doing this, or you just take them. Just take them and pull.
Okay.
Just take them, pull. That's all they need. They get 6 in blood flow.
See, this is
I know.
profession.
She left me some, but that's all. It's actually, it's helpful to the joint without stressing the joint. If you keep popping the joint, eventually it's going to grow. Mainly abuse. If you keep abusing the joint, so just straight traction doesn't abuse them.
Okay.
All right, how you doing? How you feeling?
Good.
All right, thank you so much for dropping in.
Thank you so
Appreciate it.
much.
All
I
right.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I like appreciates it. My appreciates it.